all here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my story for the very first time in a situation like this. Like she said, I am a diamond coach. I am from Altoona, well, a little south of Altoona, Pennsylvania, originally from Brookville, if anybody knows where that is. And I've been coaching for 3 years. I'm also an art teacher and a mom of 3. And I have 3 little boys at home. They are now 7, 7, and 9. Yes, twins. Fun fact, this is my fun fact about myself. I have a twin sister. My husband has a twin brother. And we have twins, and they're all identical. So any of those weird hereditary studies, we proved them wrong. So anyways, I never thought that I would be up here speaking to all of you ever. I remember my very first Super Weekend event. I was so nervous, so scared to even come. Is this anyone's first Super Weekend? Yes, way to come! I don't know, if you're nervous, it's normal. I'm still nervous up here. But it's so crazy to me what can happen. And I have learned to never say never when it comes to this business, when it comes to your healthy journey or coaching journey. Anything is possible. So quick backstory of how I got into Beachbody. I got pregnant with my twins, and I had to be put on bed rest with them. Very high-risk pregnancy. My water actually broke at 16 weeks. So let that one sink in. We were discharged from the hospital with instructions on what to do when they came at 16 weeks. So miraculously, they stayed in. I was put on bed rest, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I think someone else had something to do with it. But they stayed in until 32 weeks. And yes, so they lived up to their superhero namesakes. Their names are Peter and Clark. So if you make the connection, good for you. If not, look it up later. But they lived up to it, and I should have come home from the hospital the happiest that I ever have been. And I was so happy. I was finally back with my then 20-month-old who I missed like crazy when I was in the hospital on bed rest. And I was so happy to have healthy babies and just finally be free with them. But that's when my body started to it almost felt like it was failing me. I had gained a lot of weight, obviously, being on bed rest with both of my pregnancies. My joints hurt going up the steps. I was out of breath all the time, but it wasn't just like that. I was never into fitness, by the way. Never say never. My twin sister was into fitness, and I laughed at her like the whole way through high school, college. I was like, why would you run for fun? That's the silliest thing I've ever thought of in my entire life. Ask me to this day what my very favorite form of exercise is. I love to run, it's crazy, so never say never, but I never had to be into it. I never had to be into nutrition until I had to be. And I remember there were many different rock bottom moments, but I remember going on our very first date after having the twins, so excited to get out. God bless my mom. She watched all 3 of the boys that night, and sometimes still does. It's a lot for her. But we got out, and I remember going to the movies so excited, and I spent half of the movie in the movie theater bathroom. And that was not abnormal to me. I had a lot of digestive issues. I was sick and tired on the couch almost every single night. I hid it well. I'm a generally happy, positive person, if you can't tell, so I hid it well. But it was a nightmare for me. And I almost gave into the fact that this is what it is when you have kids and you're a mom. But I think many of us have probably been there in this room, and we know that that's not how it has to be now that we are where we are. So that's how I got into Beachbody. I actually joined through a free 7-day sugar detox group because I was a major sugar addict. I really needed help in the sugar department. That's how I got in. I didn't even know it was Beachbody. I had already gotten into running a little bit because that's what my sister did. I hated it. Now I love it. And eventually joined the actual groups. Don't give up on people if they tell you they don't want to pay, if they tell you you're a runner. I had all the excuses in the book. It took me many follow-ups, but eventually I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the nutrition, Shakeology, the fitness programs, eventually weightlifting. Who's doing Lift More right now? Anybody? Yeah! Eventually weightlifting, and completely fell in love with it, lost 40 pounds, and I never have to be that mom sick and tired on the couch ever again, and I love that. So you think that I would have coached right away, because I fell in love with everything. Well, it took my coach over a year of asking and following up and planting that seed, but I am so glad that she didn't give up on me. Never give up on people. because in the past 3 years, I have grown so much because of coaching. And it's funny, time was my biggest excuse, but I joined at the busiest time of the school year for art teachers, right before my 2 art shows. That's when I decided to start coaching. So if you think time is your reason for not doing it, that's not a factor. If you have the passion and the fire in your heart to help other people never say never, it doesn't matter if you have time or not, because you will make time for something that can change someone's life like it has changed yours. So quick fast forward to this year. I have had the most incredible year of my coaching journey thus far, and it's kind of cool because I still feel like I'm just getting started. But this year, February, March, whenever it was, Autumn posted in the Champions page about the Gut Protocol Retreat Contest. And my first thought was, never will I win something like that. That's not possible for me. But I learned over the past 3 years to never say never about anything or anything that you think you can or can't do. And to just go for it and try anyway. So that's what I did. I went all in. I pushed harder than I have ever pushed in my entire coaching journey. It was a lot of late nights. I don't recommend losing sleep, but sometimes in those push moments, in those push months, Team Cup months. Who's on a Team Cup team? Woo! Yeah, Team Cup! So those push moments, you know, sometimes have to sacrifice things. And I leaned into my current community. Thank you, ladies. I leaned into my follow-ups list. If you don't have a follow-ups list, start one. That thing was incredible for that time. And I leaned into all kinds of new people. I got really bold. Bold is my word of the year this year. I got really bold, and I was able to help 60 people get started with Gut Protocol. It was like a three or 4 week chunk of time. So it was a lot of work. And if you're ever wondering in those late nights, those moments where you're like, is this worth it? It's worth it. Just to help 60 people never say never about their gut health. That is worth it. But also, then I got to go on the Gut Protocol retreat, which was incredible. I was scared. I was so nervous. If you didn't know about that retreat, there were 12 coaches that won that spot with Autumn in Florida, and it was anywhere from emeralds to superstar diamond coaches. I was scared. I went up to that door ready to knock on that mansion in Florida, shaking like, what in the world am I going to have to say to Autumn? Or, you know, Kim Fitzpatrick, like these superstar diamond coaches. I'm not going to have anything to say to them. I knock on the door. Autumn welcomes me in with a giant hug. Everyone's just talking, hugging, like we all know. It's like we all know each other, even though nobody knew each other really. And it just reminded me what this community is all about. It's like no matter your shape, no matter your size, no matter where you came from, who you are, what your rank is, you walk into that room and you immediately feel like you belong. Because you do, and you belong to something so much bigger than yourselves, because when we work together, I really do think anything is possible. And like Carl said at Summit, I really think that we are just getting started with this. And I know that I'm just getting started with this, and I left that retreat with even more of a belief of anyone can do this, because hearing all 12 stories, they were all so different, and everyone's story was different, but everyone had success in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's been the best year yet, and I challenge you, if you have a never, something you never thought you'd be able to do in your healthy journey, your coaching journey, your business, whatever it is, never say never. Really lean into that thing, give yourself permission to believe that it's possible, and just go for it and do the work to make it happen. So yeah, that's my story. Thank you.